Hello, hi everyone, and welcome to Experience VCC. This is the session for baking, culinary, and hospitality management programs. We've also got a short presentation on wedding and event management, which is part of the hospitality area. This is part of our Experience VCC open house. Normally in the before times, we would have had everyone on campus touring the kitchens and tasting things and trying your hand at making things and meeting everyone in person. We hope to do that again pretty soon, maybe in the fall if everything is allowed. But for now, we've gotten pretty used to doing this Zoom thing, haven't we? My name is Jen Giesbrecht. I work in the marketing and communications department. My title is content strategist. So I write stories and other material for the website. Before we start with our actual presentations, I want to do an important acknowledgement that VCC is located on the traditional unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples who have been stewards of this land from time immemorial. After we hear about culinary programs, Asian culinary programs, baking and pastry arts programs, wedding and event management programs, and hospitality management, we're going to have a Q&A session. So each instructor is going to have a short presentation. And then the main point of this is to get those questions answered. So to start with here, we'll meet some chefs. Chef John and Chef Aaron is standing by as well, maybe to answer questions in the chat or chime in. But yeah, take it away, Chef John.
Hello, welcome. My name is John Lewis. I am the executive, or I should say assistant department leader, culinary arts. And Erin is also chef, and she's going to be there for the technical side of things. So just to give you a little summary of culinary, we have continuous intake every 4 weeks. So it falls into pretty much every month. Classes run from Monday to Thursday, 25 hours a week. Start time is 7 till 1:45 for most classes. There's a PC1, PC2, and apprentice class. Most of our students start off with PC1. The classes for the first 8 months are broken into 8 classes, block 1 through 8, and we go through knife skills, safety sanitation in block 1, along with other cooking demos, be it by the instructor, types of cooking. And then as you move through the courses, then each course is reflective of a certain area in the kitchen. Block 2 would be soups and stocks, salads, and then we get into breakfast in block 3. Block 4 is pastries in regards to breads, custards, like foundation recipes for desserts. Block 5 is actually one of the favorite classes the students like to take is butchery. So processing, chicken, fish, poultry, and veal. Block 6 is to do with cafeteria, so we'll do service there for entrees, vegetables, and starches. And then block 7 is also in the kitchen as well, cafeteria for a short order, foods. And then you have block 8, which is a catering class, which then can facilitate any type of said catering, be it breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And that's where maybe the hours will change pertaining to start and finish time. But we look at most of the caterings between Monday and Thursday. That's pretty much a summary of what the college is offering to start, PC1. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Yeah, PC1 stands for Professional Cook 1. And that gives you, I believe, with a couple of working hours, it gives you your first level apprenticeship or trade certificate. Is that right?
Yeah, so the school, thank you, Jen, will sign off for the ITA with 600 hours of educational training. And you need 1,000 hours to complete PC1. So then the remaining 400 hours would be looked at as work experience from an employer. And those hours then would be reviewed and acknowledged, and then they would be added to PC1 to give you that 1,000 hours.
Great. So you complete a whole chunk of those hours at the college then. That's great. Yeah. Okay. This is a really special program. Now we're going to talk about Asian culinary arts. And Chef Barry, please take it away.
Hello, everybody. My name is Barry Sang. I'm the head of Asian culinary art program in VCC. Talk about Asian culinary art programs in VCC. We'll be studying in VCC for 47 years now. So since 1975. And right now, we are the only one full-time Asian culinary art program in North America. So our classes started on Monday to Friday in the morning, 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock. We have 2 intake each year. One is from February until end of June. Another one, that means they're coming up on September until the following end of January. And it's a 20 weeks long. Within 20 weeks, students will learn about 140 different Asian cuisine. So which is including Chinese, Japanese, Korean, East Indian, Thai, so and so. So it's about 10 Asian countries. And students will learn in a different cooking method and use a different ingredient. Like they will use a wok, you can see on the screen, so students using the wok and cook, and then they making deep frying like tempura, baking, roasting like barbecue duck, and so and so. And we make some dim sum as well, and we make soup. So the program, so I have to tell you, is pretty unique, and 95% is hand-on. So you will working in the kitchen most of the time, and we serve the lunch in our cafeteria every day from Monday to Friday during the lunchtime. So student cook the food, we will serve it right away, and then you will get the response from the customer right away, so you know how you're doing, and you're doing a great job or not. And we are looking for another level, we call level 2 in the future, and then we're working on it. If you have any question about this program, feel free to send me emails. My emails are underneath that. Or if you're in a downtown during the weekday, I will invite you to come and visit our kitchen and see how it's going, and see your interest and ask a question. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, the only full-time Asian culinary arts program in North America, and we've been around for almost 50 years, 47, I think he said. And yeah, that culinary, that Asian food counter in the cafeteria is amazing. I can't imagine anyone coming back with bad feedback to you guys, but I'm sure that you have to learn how to take that too. Okay, let's see. Next, Susie is here to talk about baking and pastry arts. Hi.
Hi there. Hello, everybody. Thanks for attending. Briefly, just about our program. Well, actually, we have 2 programs that we offer. These are our 2 main programs. They're each 11 months long. One of them is the Pastry Arts Certificate, and the other one is the Artisan Baking Certificate. The Pastry Arts Certificate is offered in January, March, April, and October, so 4 times per year. And the Artisan Baking Certificate is offered only once per year in May. Our classes, just like Culinary, are offered on Monday to Thursday, but we have either a morning shift or an afternoon shift. So depending on the month that you start your program in, you will always be in a morning shift, or you may be in an afternoon shift. So it stays the same depending on the time you start. The morning shift is from 7 in the morning till 1:30 in the afternoon, and the afternoon shift is 12:30 till 7 and 12:30 in the afternoon till 7 in the evening. Both of those programs, 11-month programs, they start with the same first 6 months. So where students are introduced to cookies and quick breads, pies, tarts, puff pastries. Then they move into learning about fermentation and yeasted doughs, bread doughs. And then they learn about cake making and cake decorating. And depending again on the program that you're in, if you're in a pastry certificate, you would go on to study chocolate and confectionery, advanced cakes and pastries, plated desserts, wedding cakes, and we have a section called selected topics. So depending on the instructor, you would study sort of some advanced topic or 2 topics. And then if you're in the artisan baking program, after those first 6 months, you would be studying advanced yeasted doughs, sourdough baking, advanced laminated doughs like croissants and sort of advanced techniques in croissants and Danish pastries, and a little bit of gluten-free study. For both of those 11-month programs, there is a 3-week practicum attached to it. I think that's kind of the general information about our programs. They're really popular programs. The pastry arts program is more popular, I think, because it's more dazzling normally to people. But both of our programs actually have just been revised and are really strong, and the products are amazing. So they're great programs. That's it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I have to agree. The students that come out of VCC's baking programs bake at such a high level. It's really impressive. I want to point out before we keep presenting that there's 2 links in the chat. One is a virtual tour of the Asian Culinary Arts Kitchen, and the other is a virtual tour of the baking labs. And just above that, actually, there's another virtual tour of the culinary arts. We've just recently put virtual tours together for these programs, so they're really new. What you're seeing in there is pretty much exactly how the campuses look right now. Seeing some questions in here too. I don't know if Susie or Aaron or John, you want to answer questions in the chat. We'll try and find them again and read them out later during the Q&A, but feel free to answer them as well. But yeah, let's turn it over to Joy now to talk about wedding and event management.
Hi there, thank you, Jen. Yes, my name is Joy. I'm the program coordinator for the Wedding and Event Management Program. And this program lives in the Continuing Studies Department, so we are strictly part-time. And the Wedding and Event Management certificate program right now is in the overall Business Leadership and Management program. There are 9 courses in that program, which has anything from Intro to Business, Sales and Marketing, and Finance core courses. And then there's 3 specifically in the wedding event area. There would be wedding planning, destination weddings, and event planning. And those courses are offered 3 times a year. So we don't run in the summer. We have 3 terms. They are in September to December, January till the end of April, and then May until the end of June, beginning of July sometimes, depending on the course. They are 1 time a week. They're 10 weeks and for 3 hours. And currently our program is going what's called a renewal. So there might be some exciting news coming up, and we may just have a wedding and event area that's just specifically focused on that, trimmed down a little bit and more concentrated and focused. So obviously with COVID, our industry got turned a bit upside down, but there is an extreme amount of pent-up demand in the hospitality world and in the event world. So if anybody's looking for a job, there's a lot of people out there that are currently looking right now. So I'm really hoping that we end up, sort of rejigging the wedding and event program. And yeah, I think that's it. If there's anybody that wants any additional information, feel free to reach out to myself or the email that's posted up on there. Thank you very much. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Joy. That sounds great. I know a lot of people were saving their wedding until after COVID, right? And that's kind of now. And so they're all getting planned. It's an exciting time. Okay, next, let's talk about hospitality management. And Willie and Monique are here. I don't know if you're both going to present.
Yeah.
There they are together in the same little box.
We
all
are.
Right. Go ahead.
So the hospitality management program, we have 2 programs. We have a diploma program and we have a bachelor's degree. So we'll start with a diploma program. It is a 2-year program. We go over 4 semesters and we have a total of 20 courses. So you can start in either September, September, May, and January are 3 intakes into the program. We are a very, very popular and very busy program. Between both programs, we're going probably over the 400 students. So we are a big program. We do 5 courses per semester. Depending when you start, if you start in September, you do September to December, January till April. And that would be considered year 1, 2 semesters. And then you have the summer off because you are required to work 400 hours in the industry. Now we have all kinds of different events set up throughout the year, interview week and other events that we put in place to help the students find work locations. So we do quite a bit of that, and we help the students with that. Then you come back in September and do another 2 semesters, and that will be considered year 2. So 2 years for the diploma program, 20 courses. And yeah, we are very popular. I guess you can also say that we are about 90% international, 10% domestic students, but we have all cultures is mixed. But it's fantastic because if we talk about hospitality management, tourism, we deal with people from all over the world, right? So it's nice to have our students mixed from all the cultures as well. Now, once you are graduating from the diploma program, you can continue with the degree if you like.
Thank you, Monique. So again, I'm Willie Aroca, the Assistant Department Head for Hospitality. And as Monique pointed out, if you finish the 2-year diploma, then you qualify to the degree program, which is also 20 courses, 60 credits, and 2-year is slated to be a 2-year program. Like the diploma program, again, you take 5 courses per term. And we only have 1 intake in September. Well, we will allow students that are in the diploma to start in January, depending on seats that are available for the program. What happens with the degree students? Many of them are working in the industry. They've already have work experience working in the industry, so they also land in opportunities where they are more in junior positions and supervisory positions. Because our industry took a tremendous hit through the pandemic, you can imagine that we're a number of people who either left the industry or moved on. This allowed the industry to open up a lot of seats for our students. So many of our students are being hired immediately. The opportunities are there. We extended, as Monique pointed out, we extended our interview week that we have once a year to twice a year because the demand has been so high for our students to work in the field. Many of them are finishing their semester today, and they're starting to work full-time for the rest of the summer. For international students, as you probably know, you get to work 40+ hours during the summer, which gives them a great opportunity to gain industry knowledge. So that's it for the degree program.
Yeah, so that's about it for hospitality.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so what we're doing today is an open house, very brief bits of information and a few questions if possible about these different programs all in one session here. But if you want to dig deeper into certain programs, we'd invite you to attend an info session. These are also still being held on Zoom, so very easy to attend. And these are just for the next upcoming dates. And so in an info session, you're going to talk only about that one program. And you're going to have a chunk of time with an instructor or program representative to talk about prerequisites and ask more questions about the campus and experiencing the program. And they're free and they're regularly scheduled if you can't make these next dates. So just sign up for those using those links if you like. We got Culinary Arts coming up on May 17th. And I want to invite you to follow Culinary Arts and VCC Baking on social media. These accounts are, well, they're very delicious social media accounts. So let's just put it that way. And it also, if you want to see examples of the kinds of things that you're going to produce as a VCC student and the types of places you're going to be working and catering and things like that. So great accounts. Okay, so we've reached the Q&A portion right on time. That's wonderful. We've got a few questions already being answered in the chat. It looks like some specifics have been covered here. And one person asked about youth train and trades. So I'm wondering if maybe John or Aaron would like to talk about youth train and trades in general.
Yeah, I saw the question. If you have participated in youth train and trades with the PC1 certification and you've passed, there are 2 options for you. You can either enter into the culinary program directly into PC2, or you can enter into the Workplace 2 program, which is the 5-week apprentice course that runs alongside, providing you have all the requirements and hours. If you enter through Workplace, which is the 5-week program, you will need to have an external sponsor or working with somebody who is able to sponsor you so that you can participate. And if you enter directly into the PC2 program, which is the longer 8-block program, that VCC offers, then VCC would be your sponsor for the completion of that course, providing that your domestic or international status aligns and you have the visa requirements fulfilled.
Thanks. Yeah, so Youth Train in Trades is a high school level program, as far as I understand, through the Industry Training Authority of BC. So you can basically start your culinary arts training in high school as early as grade 11 and earn apprenticeship hours, high school credits, and college credits all at the same time. And you've got a head
Red
start.
Seal certification.
Oh, yeah.
And you get your, if you pass successfully, you will receive your PC1, which is your level 1 Red Seal certification in the province of British Columbia.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
Someone asked earlier about bringing a laptop. Do people need to have their own computer equipment to take these programs? I see shaking heads. Let's take turn answering that one.
No, you don't have to.
Okay. What about in culinary?
No,
Asian culinary baking?
they can actually access on their phone. We use Moodle, which is our our shell that we use here at the college, and there's also computers available in the library as well. But for most students coming in, if it's on their phone, then they can use the laptop or set a computer at home. I
know VCC Library lends out iPads too for students regularly. There's an interesting question about hospitality. Do the students need to have good teeth? Are we required to wear makeup all the time?
We always say, we love that you have a good smile. That's what we always say.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we don't require students to wear makeup in their classes. I mean, I'm not a person to wear a lot of makeup either. So I hear you. I understand what the student and person are saying. I mean, when we go out for field trips or you do interviews, I mean, sure, you want to put a little bit of makeup on because you have to present yourself, right? So, but in the classes itself, you don't have to.
It's an industry where the attitude is more important. If you have the right attitude, you're going to succeed in the program.
Yeah, very true.
I like that attitude. Yeah, VCC prides itself for being very diverse and accepting. And makeup is not something we even would talk about generally in any program. Barry, what times are you available again in your kitchen for students who might want to drop by and talk?
The class time is 8 to 1, so the best time drop by. I would say 9 o'clock. After 9 o'clock will be the best time until close. But I will recommend from 9 to 11 is the best time because we actually will be working in the kitchen and prepare for the lunch service. So that's the best time. But of course, you can make it in between 9 to 11. You can always come after 11 o'clock.
Mm. And then grab some lunch while you're here.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah. Susie is reminding people that the baking department also offers youth train in trades. So you can get your baking career started while you're in high school as well, if that's your path. And here's someone's asking about Professional Cook 3. So for PC3, do I need a workplace sponsor in order for me to apply to PC3?
Yes, you would need a workplace sponsor for that. So you need to be registered with ITA for both level 3, and you will also need somebody working in industry at an establishment, ideally that you work at, to sign you up and be your sponsor in order to register for Workplace Apprentice 3.
There's a question about admissions timing in the baking pastry arts. When are the offers being sent out this year?
That is organized by the registrar's office. I'm not actually apprised of the schedule of when they send out offers, but I can say that I think that's referring to the pastry arts program. It's pretty competitive. There's always a wait list.
It just has great facilities too. I really recommend you guys to go and watch those virtual tours. And so how would you choose? Is it grades then, or do they have a baking portfolio that how do you select the?
It's at the college. It's a first come first serve basis, and it's managed by the registrar's office. So the department, well, Barry, I think yours is different, but for baking, we don't do interviews. We don't do any of that intake. That's all the registrar's office.
I see. So you got to be first to apply.
Yeah,
That's
kind of.
that's the trick. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I know a lot of VCC students have been really successful in competitions. Let us know in the chat if anyone is interested in that kind of thing. A lot of our students have received really a lot of support from the instructors and like on the side training and prep for competitions, which is very exciting. Some of our students have recently even gone to world skills competitions and placed quite high. Maybe John or Aaron, could you talk about the benefit of those skills competitions?
We just actually had a nationals, provincials rather, last weekend. So we had representation from each of the provinces across Canada, and we hosted those students here at the college over the weekend on the I think it was April the 6th or the 8th or 9th. So with that, then there was first place, second place. Bacon also did the same thing. And now these students are going to challenge down at the convention center the last weekend in May for Skills Canada. And with that, then students finishing in top places in all aspects of Red Seal. So it's not just cooking. There's probably 30 different types of, say, Red Seal contests there. And we're looking then at to have those first, second place competitors compete in Singapore towards the end of the year. So we were last doing these competitions before COVID 2.5 years ago, and we had one student from baking department and one student from culinary, and actually we went to Russia, and they finished respectively in the top 10 in their profession. So we were very pleased that both students finished so well in the competition, and they're now, or one of them is now part of the skills judges in the kitchen for this year. And also she is working at a set of restaurants because of her exposure and recognition through the competitions. And not only that, but then we also have students who want to participate, or we just want to be part of something. And so, they also get to see what it means to be part of a competition and what it takes to be in a competition. And it helps, actually furthers them in their career with knowledge and skills, for, say, events like this. So it's very rewarding to see said students of a young age, under 23, being so successful and knowing that they have a foundation here from VCC. So it's very rewarding indeed.
Yeah, and this year the Skills National Competition is in Vancouver, which is kind of exciting for us. It's always in a different Canadian city. The Nationals recently was in Halifax, and we get it this year, so we're extra excited. A few questions here. Does baking youth trained in trades need to be a grade 11 student, or does it not matter as long as the student finishes grade English 10 and Math 10?
Yeah, we're actually in the midst of accepting applications. The applications come through the high school. So if you're interested, then you need to work with your high school. Do not send me anything directly. We have applicants who are currently in grade 10 and applicants who are currently in grade 11, and meaning they'll be in grades 11 and 12 respectively when the program starts. So that happens if we don't have enough space for all the applicants. Very often, not always, we end up with by accepting the older students, because often there will be a difference in experience and maturity. It kind of just happens that way. But we have had students who in the program are actually in grade 11 when they start. So that happens. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Here's a question from someone who completed their original training in the 80s. And then this is pretty common at VCC, that we get people changing their careers or coming back to school to develop their careers. And so here's a question that someone completed PC1 in the 80s in another country, worked as a cook here in BC for 3 years. Can I apply directly to PC2?
It would depend on which country that certification was collected from. And what can happen sometimes is there can be a letter of permission granted from the department head to allow that person to move forward within our system. But that needs to go through VCC's department head and also probably ITA. And at both, because those are two separate entities, both of them will have to do a little bit of research based on that certification, where that person's at, what their level of experience is. Sometimes they request a resume to be submitted, and then from there, one or the other or both will make a decision on that.
Mm-hmm. So is there any kind of assessment test that people would ever have to take?
Sometimes, sometimes ITA will ask for that. But that happens through ITA and through their institution. And then depending on what they say, our department head would make a judgment call on that and grant a letter of acceptance or not.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So it's not impossible.
No, that's a good question,
Yeah.
actually. There are people where we accept their certifications from like different places. It just kind of depends on if it aligns with the outcomes that are offered and trained within the course curriculum, basically.
Mm-hmm. Great. Here's a question again for Susie, I guess. As for the baking theory classes, is it on your own learning or is it in a class?
It is in a classroom, and there actually is both. There's a fair bit of reading homework and sort of study guide questions. And there can, from time to time, there are sort of small, what I might call research assignments, but not essays. So it is both. And thanks for actually asking about this, because it's important that anybody who's thinking about registering for the program, it's important that you know that there's quite a rigorous theory curriculum that goes along with this program. So every week there is up to 30 pages of reading. So I just want to make that clear. Yeah,
it's very scientific too, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a high sort of a high level of science, but it is scientific. So we do, baking and culinary and Asian culinary, they're all applied programs. So what that means is theory is applied to practice. So you need to understand all throughout your practice what's actually happening in front of you, right? So that you can make appropriate professional level decisions about what you're doing. So the theory is absolutely as important as the practice insofar as it informs your practice.
I'm going to take a couple minutes here to talk about the services for VCC students. One thing that I want to highlight specifically is our free tutoring. So if you're having trouble with the math in your baking program or the economics in your hospitality management program, for example, we have free professional tutors on campus that you book an appointment with. They specialize in certain areas, and VCC students find that really, really helpful. Like a lot of schools, we've got free professional counselors for your mental health. We've got a priority enrollment policy for Indigenous students, and a lot of efforts on campus right now to decolonize, indigenize our curriculums and just enable success for Indigenous students in the city. If you have a disability, physical, cognitive, whatever it is, learning disability, VCC welcomes you in any program at all. We want to accommodate you, and if you think you want to try something, talk to our disability services department, and we will do our very best to make it work for you. We have lots of success stories about students. We graduated a baking student who used a wheelchair. We have nursing students with learning disabilities. All kinds of things are possible, and VCC is the place that we really want to make that happen for you. Advising services is for you guys who might be a little bit stuck applying to your programs or need more information about prerequisites, the application process. things like that. And we also have advisors available to make appointments with throughout the week. And they know more about VCC programs than a lot of the rest of us do. And they're going to be the ones that can get you into the right program that you need. And of course, financial aid. Everyone was worried about tuition and their bank accounts these days. So lots of bursaries and scholarships available, different kinds of awards. It doesn't hurt to apply for them. In fact, a lot of our funding based on awards and bursaries even goes unclaimed some years because there haven't been applications. So definitely take a look at that list that we just pasted in the chat and see what might be available to you. Of course, there's still the apprenticeship incentive grant, right, you guys, from the government for apprenticeships. That's another resource. But that's the end of our session today. Thanks for joining us at Experience VCC. Hope to see you on campus soon, or hopefully in person at our next event in the fall. Have a good one. See ya.